All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns here with Haas. No DP today here on the Breeze, but no worries. As you can imagine, DP, busy guy. He's got his own business to attend to. But Haas, we got a full show ahead. I'm excited to talk about Jon Jones, a little bit of UFC. I know we lean heavily into wrestling, but again, UFC, another sport that I feel like. Are you normally a pretty big UFC fan? I know DP is huge on it.
I'm average. I'm not gonna say I am just to disrespect those that are diehards, but I'm an average guy.
Yeah, but
Just
like we said, the name Jon Jones, that's going to draw ears regardless.
so
But again,
Bones coming back and carrying a belt. That's pretty cool. What'd you think
yeah,
of it?
absolutely. I can't say I was, super surprised, but I was surprised like how quick it was. Like I think it was like 2 minutes. Let me look it up here.
Yeah,
It,
no, it was
I,
2 minutes. It was 2 minutes.
yeah, 2 minutes 4 seconds submission to move him to his overall record 27-1. Just incredible. And again, like you know, he's a guy that's been consistent forever. And you just look at everything like Gain was pretty much playing on the ropes. He was trying to kind of pick his spots where he wanted to like conserve energy because you could see Jon Jones was swinging a little more early. And Gain was kind of looked like he wanted to play the long game there. And he was pretty accurate. If you actually look at his hits, I mean, he only missed about like one strike. But again, like if you're gonna sit there and be patient against a guy like Jon Jones, it's just probably not a game plan. Like you got to be just as crazy to beat that guy. I don't know what were your thoughts. I wasn't surprised, but the speed of the submission. I was surprised about how quickly it happened.
Couple things. It's UFC is a young man sport, so
Yeah.
for someone that old to come back, go up in class, and go and win the heavyweight title when he was a middleweight guy for so long. That's pretty cool. It's remarkable, actually. Um, just I don't know. Does it bring more light to the sport? I know if DP was here, he's always ringside or he's always doing something at every UFC fight, and just what does this do for the sport? Is this someone that they go and just advertise and make it a lot bigger? Is that the name recognition that they've been missing lately? I don't know.
I don't know. I think like it's definitely a good start for like it's just a good event nonetheless to have Jon Jones back up there. And like you said, to move up to heavyweight, I mean that's huge. But I mean I do kind of wonder what Jon Jones is looking at for his career. Because like you said, it's a young man's game. I mean, he's 29 fights into his career. You get to those like some of those guys, yeah, they can get up there, but I mean, you don't see a ton of guys fighting to 50 plus fights. Like he's got a clock that's ticking. And again, how much more beating is he going to want to take? I mean, you're going to have to throw him some real money now. Now he's the heavyweight champ as well. He's not going to go fight just a nobody. Like he wants money. He's 29 fights now under his belt. He's not going to want to just take a weak contract. He wants big fights, and even then, I mean, if I was in the UFC and I won the heavyweight and I'm that many fights in, I don't know how long I want to go. It's a young man's sport. I mean, you look at all the great fighters that stay in the game too long. It's got pretty horrible effects. Like I don't know. I hate remembering who Muhammad Ali was at the end of his career. Like it's just not even the same guy. So I don't know. Do you see Jon Jones continuing kind of be a feature for UFC, or do you think? I bet she has a few more fights. I just don't know how long UFC can use him as a feature.
I mean, what happened to Anderson Silva is what comes to mind the most, and
Yeah.
one, you can't come back from a broken leg, but or I don't know if you want to call that a broken leg, but whatever happened to his leg that was so catastrophic. But hey, all right, I admitted I'm an average UFC guy. Text into the Sutter Heyman line 402-464-5685. Who should Bones fight next? Who should Bones fight next? What pay per view would you want to watch if you want Bones to fight next? So that's something. Text in throughout the show and let us know. Uh, Maybe I'll have to stop what I'm doing and watch that fight. So uh, DP obviously would have his next 5 people that he should fight.
We should look.
uh,
I'm gonna pull up. Let's see the heavyweights right now on who's kind of in the climb because the heavyweights. I mean, I'll be honest. Out of the heavyweights, a lot of those guys right now are just kind of all neck and neck. I don't know if there's any true fighters. And again, Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685.
And
'Cause again,
again, just who you would really just stop what you're doing. You'd pay $100 to watch that pay per view. Just let us know who that is. And is it Brock Lesnar? Is it Velasquez?
Brock Lesnar.
You and your Brock Lesnar. Well, uh, while you pull that up, and while we ponder a pay per view fight, the pay per view that we're going to talk about later is WrestleMania, since we've been talking about that for a while, and just figuring out if we were to script WrestleMania. There's a couple matches that should go on first on Saturday and last on Saturday, and first on Sunday and last on Sunday. I'm going to give you my thoughts if I was writing the pay per view on what order they should go in. I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks as well. But with that, you said there's a lot going on in sports. The NBA, I guess we could talk about that a little bit more. There's a couple things that come to mind. I don't want to sound like it's picking up, and it's definitely, you can ignore the NBA for 4 or 5 months, and then maybe start picking it up in April, and you didn't miss much. That's unfortunately what's happened with the NBA. There's the minutes restriction and load management and resting kind of has made viewership go down. But I want to talk about Ja Morant, and I wish DP was here, because if DP sat him down and talked to him and imparted his wisdom, sometimes we have to realize the gift that we have and how special we are, and what a blessing it is to be given all these talents by God, and just be so quick and such a good basketball player, and be so unique, but then not surround ourselves with the right people. So for me,
I'm glad you said that.
Ja Morant hasn't been advised, coached, or led to have the right surroundings. When you surround yourself with greatness, so many things happen. When you surround yourself with people that might not make the right decisions first, then you see that. Monkey see, monkey do. And so for me, someone needs to sit that man down and explain the opportunity. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if this is a Gilbert Arenas situation? Who knows? Hopefully it's a small thing. Hopefully what he did wasn't that major. But to go back on Instagram and post him holding a gun after what he potentially did to a security guard and a teenager.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. You're a role model. You are showing. There's. I'm gonna pause my words for a second. Those of us that have been given these opportunities, regardless of skin color, we have an obligation to go and show others this is what we can do. Now, when it involves a minority or a female, the obligation's even larger. It's magnified because those opportunities are smaller. And so for Ja, other people can see Ja grew up like this and he became like this. So this is the reflection point in his life. If this is the last time we talk about things happening at clubs, things happening outside of basketball, then that's the lesson for Ja. But right now, we just need to make sure if I'm him, surrounding yourself with the right people and getting the right advice, clean your there's words I want to use and I can't use them. Clean those around you. Clean those around you. And just make sure you have the right foot forward moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Again, like he himself seems like a nice player when he's interacting with fans. He seems to give them attention during games. But it's when he's off the court and like who he's surrounding himself. And it's like, dude, I just like get frustrated for him because I'm like, the Grizzlies went from the most lovable team in the NBA last season to the most hated team one season. And it's not like they won the championship to do this. It's not like a dynasty's been going on. It's all this bull crap off the court. And it's like, just keep that social media stuff to yourself. Like, no one's expecting you to be these, like, I don't look at these athletes like, hey, you need to be a perfect role model because all these people are looking at you. That's impossible. But what you're posting needs to be as close as perfect because you have control over what you post. You know, you don't have to put like, you have total control. And like you said, having a gun on his IG live after supposedly that security guard incident, and then you kind of dig in deeper and you hear possibly one of those people in the circle has an even longer history that just keeps going on and on. And like you said, it's like I don't know if it's who he's surrounding himself with. That's kind of what I'm getting. But again, it's just you can control things, and you can definitely control what you put on your stories. And when you have millions, like you know how many John Morants I see jerseys running around here in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and we got all these John Morant jerseys, and it's like they follow you, they see that, you know. You just hope not one of them thinks that's cool and like, oh, okay, that's fine to do. Like, again, just a weird turn for the Grizzlies to be the most loved and to the most hated, even more so than probably the Lakers right now, and all just in a year.
Yeah, and I know we said it's off the court, but now reflecting the stuff that they do on the court, and Dylan Brooks,
Yeah, that's
uh,
true. Brooks
like
Two's been.
it's like the most. He's starting to become Grayson Allen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's just another guy that Dylan Brooks is. He's a good player, but he just and sometimes I feel like he's talking to players like he's Michael Jordan. Like the way he kind of like talks down, and maybe it's a mind game thing, but some of the stuff he says is even like, well, maybe backpedal on that one. And then John Morant, obviously being the leader, um, you just hope better. And the Grizzlies, what are they right now? Third, fourth in the West? I'll pull it up real quick.
Second.
Second in the West.
But they could have been first, but when Ja got hurt, Denver separated themselves. The Pelicans were first, and then with Zion getting hurt, Denver took over. So they're probably a game out in the loss column from Sacramento. Sacramento had a chance to get into second, but they had a loss. So they're sitting there at second. They got a game against the Clippers and then a game against the Lakers with the two games that Ja's out. Just game doesn't matter. Playoffs don't matter. What if he's out indefinitely? What if he's out for the year? What if he's out next year? What if he doesn't stop and he uses a gun? Like this is as loud of a wake up call as it could be because the game actually doesn't matter. It's you are too valuable to too many people, and just I hope he changes, and I hope the people around him don't egg him on and just try to show how tough he should be.
Yeah, and again, like you said, right now he's probably good. I mean, he's definitely gonna have some punishments coming down the pipeline. Not sure what it's gonna look like, but there's definitely a window for him to continue his career, continue to be a great player. But I mean, it's got to stop like soon. He doesn't have too many more slip ups before. Like you said, you don't know what that next step's going to be, and you hope he just realizes it, and that's the end of it, and he has this awesome career. But like you know, you're not too far away from a few more mistakes, and especially if they continue to increase in the severity, it's like I mean, the NBA, they're going to try to get the best players, but there's definitely a fine line. So I don't want to rip into him too much.
Yeah.
Definitely disagree with what he's been doing, but I do hope he just turns it around because he is a fun player to watch. But again, you can't just be a fun player. You got to respect the rules of the league, and you just hope he can do that.
And to be clear, I don't think we've accused him of doing anything. We're just saying it's time to.
Facts. I think it's the facts too. We're listing out what has happened.
We don't know the facts we weren't there. We don't know what's going on, and before we make him guilty, it's just saying, look, there's so much smoke. Just wake up. Make sure you surround yourself with the right people. So hopefully the allegations aren't true, and hopefully it's just moving on from him, and hopefully he's a young man, so a lot happens in your 20s, and unfortunately when you're a superstar, that the camera's right on you. So
yeah, and then while we're on NBA, I kind of want to talk to you about this because I know you love the Lakers. How's your trajectory? Where do you see that going? It's been since the last time I talked to you. You actually looked pretty good. D'Angelo Russell was playing nice. I didn't think you guys were contenders, but you guys were making a push, and I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. But now I'm back out. I don't know. What are you seeing? Where is this going for you guys?
So the text that I get, because I'm like, whoa, we look so good. We have athletic, long guys that can play defense and shoot threes. We were a team that could not shoot. There was no spacing at all, and we
Yeah,
played no defense, and we had no pace. Vanderbilt comes in, and you could put him on a guy like Luca, and he did come in and guard Luca and help the Lakers come back from I think it was 28 points back, and win that
yeah.
game last Sunday, and then with Beasley. Beasley is known for shooting threes. This guy is actually a scorer. This guy can he shoots like 5 feet behind the 3 point line. Number one, but number two, he actually has a bounce and a hop and a mid range game, which I was shocked by. So you take Beasley, you take Vanderbilt, Russell. His defense isn't that important anymore. When he was on the Lakers the first time, he couldn't play any defense. I called him Angelo Russell because the D was silent.
Yeah.
But now, when he's healthy, and the Lakers are always hurt, he's a creator. He passes the ball really well. He looked unselfish, and he could shoot the ball really well, close to 40% from the 3 point line, which is really coveted by the Lakers. And if he turns the ball over, it might be 2 or 3 turnovers a game instead of 2 or 3 turnovers a half, which what the Lakers were used to from number zero. So yeah, I'm not trying to badmouth Mr. Westbrook. And then the last thing, adding Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba is a tall guy who shoots close to 40% as well, and he shoots 2 or 3 threes a game. So there's a massive shift in what the Lakers have, and they're missing their top two ball handlers. So if LeBron can come back for the playoffs, and I understand the Lakers are at 11 seed right now, if LeBron can come back and play for the playoffs, and Russell gets these guys going. AD has shown that he can step up when he's healthy, and I know his nickname of Street Clothes comes in quite effect because he's injured all the time. But if AD can come in and get 30 and 15, and everyone else plays defense, Troy Brown's making threes, Austin Reeves, he's been a sniper. The last couple games I'd watch him 5 for 5 from the field, 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 5 for 5 from the field, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. So he is taking really good shots and not missing, and he's giving them a little bit of attitude. Maybe not Dylan Brooks attitude, but he's come in and given a little bit of attitude. So the identity of the Lakers is shooting threes, playing defense, which is something that I haven't seen in 2 years. So if the Lakers make it to the playoffs, they've beaten good teams this year. Okay, the way they handled Milwaukee, the way they handled Boston, and if the refs didn't screw them, they would have won at Boston. The way that they came back to, what's that?
OT win over the Mavericks. That was huge.
Yeah,
Like you said, that's when the unit was really coming together there.
yeah. So there's time. It's really hard to make a team after the All-Star break, but that's what the Lakers are doing without the leading scorer of all time, without someone who's a great passer. That's LeBron. Um, Without all that, if they are in the play-in game, do you really want to play the Lakers?
I mean, are you saying if you're saying LeBron's back?
If the Lakers are healthy, and they are in the play-in game, do you want to play the Lakers in the first round? Do you want to play Minnesota in the first round? Do you want to play the Pelicans in the first round? Who do you want to play?
I mean, if I'm being honest here, like, you're probably not taking the Lakers anymore. Not with the retooled lineup. Like, you're kind of hoping you'd rather play the Pelicans without a Zion. The Pelicans are just completely different. You'd rather play the Jazz. I mean, there's a lot of teams ahead of the Lakers that I'd rather play the Pelicans. I'd rather play the Jazz. I'd rather play the Clippers. Maybe. I don't know. That one, it kind of depends how they're rolling in.
5 straight losses with Westbrook.
Yeah. Dude, it's like, can you believe we might have to talk about that after. How the hell did they take Russell Westbrook? Why do teams keep taking Westbrook?
He is a really good player, but for whatever reason,
he hasn't been a good player. Not for a while. In these systems, he has not been. Only if he's the only guy on the roster. That's
correct.
And they keep thinking he's like, no, it'll mesh. It doesn't work.
And DP here right now would be defending him just because the basketball skills that he has it's amazing. However, What I believe that he does to teams is he takes the ball away from the people that should have it. And those people that should have it are 5% to 7% better at scoring. So then you are reducing the odds of PG scoring and Leonard scoring and Zubac scoring, and you just compared Westbrook to Zubac. Well, Zubac is like a 65% shooter because he just grabs the ball and does a soft shot near the rim. So that's a high percentage shot, much better than the very bad angled bank shot that Westbrook loves, or the full speed, full sprint, bricked layup that he loves to do, or anything like that. So, and then on top of all that, Westbrook doesn't play defense. So yeah, that's probably why he's come in and been traded so many times, or let go by the Jazz, because of his impact on the team. He's not a Caruso.
Yeah, I mean, we have to go to break here, but I'm glad DP would defend him because nobody sure as hell else is when he's standing on the 3-point line. So he's got someone. We'll go to break here. The Breeze right here on 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I am Harrison Arns running the board. This is The Breeze with host Haas. As always, we kind of left the last segment. We went everywhere. We talked UFC, we talked some NBA, and mainly those two. But we were trying to figure out some UFC heavyweight matchups. And like I said, there isn't a lot, so we'll fly through these two. There's only two heavyweights that probably deserve a legit chance on actually getting that fight, and that'd be Curtis Blades, because he's got 3 in a row now. He's looking at his record right here. He's sitting at 20-2. Like I said, sitting number 3 in the rankings. Obviously, Gain was 2. He's taken a loss. So if you're going in order, he'd probably be the next one to get a shot. Otherwise, Sergey Pavlich, he's 17-1. He's coming off 3 wins as well. And that's kind of the only guys I see. There's another Sergey Spivak. He's Russian. He's sitting at 16-3. But again, those are probably the only two that I really like. Or Pavlich and Blades. Everyone else, not quite there yet. The only ones, you're getting into 10-loss fighters who haven't been consistent, or you're getting two guys that are 12-3 that are, have been on a heater, but they haven't really wrestled, not wrestled, but fought anyone elite yet. So, I'm Curtis Blades is probably the next one up. He's on the list, but in all honesty, that seems about right. I don't really see anyone else deserving to fight John Jones for the heavyweight.
Sorry, DP, I'm not paying to watch any of those matches.
You won't watch Curtis Blades? He actually is really fun to watch. Okay. Nonetheless, we'll get off that. But again, you guys want to chime in? Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. So we kind of broke down what the hell the Clippers were thinking, trying to figure out why Russell Westbrook. Again, I just don't know. I think if I'm getting Russ, I'm a team that is not competitive, that we need to get some fan interaction, and we already gave our pick away. So even if we tank this year, we're not going to get a pick. Let's play some good basketball. Let's get some culture going. If anything, Russell Westbrook's a hard worker. So if you have him for a 1-year deal, hopefully he can leave some of that behind. But that's at this point in his career, I have such a hard time fitting him with other stars. I don't know how to do it. Is this just kind of what you see for the rest of Russ's career, or do you think it'll work at some point?
So, looking back, it reminds me of Allen Iverson, and to the Allen Iverson fans, that's very disrespectful. But let's calm down. Russ is a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Russ is the triple-double. Russ, in his prime, was the guy. So before people go and throw their Georgetown jerseys at me, this is like Allen Iverson, where the skill or talent that both these guys have is they are much quicker than everyone else. And so Father Time always wins. The reason why LeBron can keep playing, the reason why Luka could play at an old age, is they're not quick. So just losing quickness for LeBron or Luka, who's in his early 20s, is not a big deal because they are in Jokic, for example. Jokic is not quick, but they're so skilled. They're like the old man at the YMCA, where they can do so many things where it doesn't matter how fast they are because they use their body correctly. They're fundamental and they use their form. Well, Iverson and Westbrook got away with being so much quicker than everyone. They had so much more separation. And now that there is no separation, Russ is not doing anything well. So if Russ was Damian Lillard, who's so quick but also could shoot really well, or Curry, who's actually a good mover. He's not necessarily known for quickness like them, but he's still quick. But shooting allows you to play until an older age. You could be Ray Allen, you could be Reggie Miller. But without shooting, then you need height. And without height, then you need speed. And then without all that, then you're just going to be the guy who causes 5 straight losses when you join a team who's supposed to make a top 4 run because they're so stacked. So that's the difference is when you lose your number one skill, and that number one skill is quickness, and you don't have everything else that you need to be effective, then you are a sixth man, then you are a guy that comes in and only provides 10, 15 minutes, not 25, 30 minutes. So I don't,
like you said about those small players, like it is really hard, and you can just go down the list of small guards that come onto the scene electric, and they're gone in the blink of an eye. You look at, obviously AI is one of those guys, super short. As soon as that athleticism catches up, that's kind of a wrap. Kemba Walker today, if you want to look at modern players, he was electric. I mean, when he was over at Charlotte, he was setting records for him. Just an incredible overall player. Unfortunately, they never were able to do anything. Few trades happen. He's getting older. He's on the Celtics, and it just steps behind. It just hasn't worked. I think he's, over in the Garden. He's playing there too for a while. It just hasn't worked for him. It just you
free
lose
agent
that
right now.
Free agent, yeah, even worse. He's not even in the league. And that guy, I mean, you're talking 5 years ago. You look at him as probably a pretty phenomenal player.
2 years ago, he was all-star.
And he's not in the league right now. And that's just crazy to see. You lose a step. And then obviously you worry guys like Derrick Rose, if they just get hurt even, can they bounce back from that injury, or is it all said and done with? And for him, he still had a career, but obviously it just wasn't the same. He had a redeeming moments playing for the Timberwolves when he dropped 50 points, I believe. Or maybe was he playing for the Timberwolves, or was he playing for the Knicks at that time when he dropped 50?
Oh, I think it was with Tibbs.
I know it was Target Center. So
it might have been with the, I was going to say Vikings with Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it was. But nonetheless, those small players, Russell Westbrook, again, it does suck because when he was honestly on that Wizards team just a few years ago, that was a league pass team for me. It was fun to watch him and Rui Hachimura. Like, that was a team that was playing really well. You saw Kyle Kuzma on that squad as well, and it actually looked like they had some promise.
Not yet. They didn't have Kuzma yet.
Came in after?
Yeah, he was traded for him.
Okay. Oh, that's right. And now he's over
Beal.
there.
It was Beal.
Mm-hmm. And again, now you see, the Wizards right now, they're struggling a little bit. Kyle Kuzma's looking like a nice player, but yeah, nonetheless, just kind of wrap up. Short players, once they lose that speed, and if they can't shoot, it's really hard for it to work again down the road. So I honestly don't see it working for Russ to be on, a superstar like that again. Definitely a good player. I think he still has plenty of positive attributes that he can do. But maybe even as like a sixth man, I just don't see where you can get that same kind of production that he ever had.
Well, here's what bothers me, and another person that had that same issue was IT. So Isaiah Thomas, he's so much shorter that even though he was a pretty decent shooter, he lost his quickness and the stuff with his hip and all that. Just he's out of the league. So here's what bothers me. Let me see how I can talk about this. This is kind of what Darvin Ham was talking about with the Lakers, but it bothers me when I watch basketball and everyone isn't a good shooter? Why is not everyone a great shooter? I don't understand it, because shooting is not a God-given gift. It isn't.
Yeah.
Shooting is from practice. Practice. We're talking about practice. Shooting is from practice. You can go and shoot 500 shots a day. This, I don't know if you guys could see it. My elbow surgery is from shooting 1,000 shots a day. I could shoot that ball. And I'm 5'10". I can't do it, but I could shoot. And the reason for it is practicing. So when Ben Simmons can't shoot, it confuses me. If Russell Westbrook can't shoot, there should be 5 people there rebounding for him all day, every day, 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m. He should be shooting and reinventing himself. But there's no pride in the NBA. There's no pride in college. People just go and play. That's not basketball. Basketball needs people that can shoot. When I coach teams, first grade, second grade, whatever grade they're in, they're all shooters, because that's how you score in basketball. So if you can't shoot, Russell Westbrook, then you also need to change who you're surrounded with. You need to change your individual coaching. You need to change your managers and reinvent yourself, or you're going to be talked poorly about. Have pride. Be accountable for who you are and play better. That's it. That's it.
I'm right there with you. That's another thing. The accountability always drove me nuts too. I don't, especially with Ben Simmons. That's another guy where that one I totally don't understand. Russell Westbrook, I can see it because he does try to shoot and he misses a lot. So to me, it's like, okay, it's in his head. He doesn't want to keep wasting possessions, but you'd think he'd fix it over the summer in practice. Nonetheless, get over that shooting slump. But Ben Simmons, like, dude won't even try. Like, I don't even have an answer for that one. Like, he doesn't attempt. He just tries to bully everything inside, which he can do at times. But the fact that he's never even tried to develop that shot, other than, some summer workout videos, but like, I don't see it in games. And he's a guy that, I mean, if he could shoot and teams have to actually defend him on the perimeter, that blow by is going to be all the easier heading downhill if they got to come out on you. And again, you don't want that treatment where everyone's just sagging off you, because your offense is just going to hurt for it. Your teammates are going to hurt for it because now they have extra help around them. And again, I mean, we have state basketball here right now going on for playoffs. Girls just wrapped up yesterday. And surprise, surprise, all the best teams that pretty much won, they had at least 3 players or more that were just deadly from outside. And the teams that didn't, that really had one big player inside that were just kind of dominating by playing in the paint, as soon as there is an adjustment and the big was getting doubled, the game was over. So you're seeing even high school level, like, teams with shooters at every position are winning far more often than not. So again, I don't know if you want to add to that, but the Ben Simmons one, like you said, that one's even more perplexing to me. I really can't even get a read on why.
My team spends 75% of time practicing shooting. Every drill involves shooting. So therefore they are good at shooting. And again, it doesn't take that much time to get up 500 shots, especially if you have a shooting machine or 2 rebounders. The forward in the Spurs, Sokan, the guy that looks like Dennis Rodman, even wears number 10. He shoots free throws one-handed now because he shot so poorly. Is it an amazing shot? No, but he decided to make changes. Mm-hmm. So he understood there's a problem and he's making changes. He's not going to go and become a 99% shooter. We understand that. But at least he understands there's a problem. There's another guy I'm trying to think of who was shooting right-handed as a shooter, but then took his free throws left-handed just to switch it up, just to get it out of his mind.
Yeah.
If people can do that, then you should be able to improve the arm. That if it's not injured, if you don't have a torn UCL or anything like that, then you should be able to go and make 95% of your free throws. I don't get it. It's something that you can get better at. But we can move on from shooting, because that's my biggest gripe. The NBA, I love how much it's evolved to a 3-point shooting game. And there's people that started. Michael Jordan wasn't a good shooter. LeBron, and this year he's such a bad shooter. But
yeah,
LeBron
he's really taking a dip numbers wise.
Yeah. And I think it's his legs. I think it's his injuries. I think it was forcing things. I think he didn't have help, so he's doing it. So if he comes back healthy, I don't think he's going to take as many bad threes as he was. I think he's going to go.
his free throws also are always kind of
Always.
weird to me.
Always.
Have you noticed he changes his routine frequently? He does a different routine like every other game. That's one where we don't have to dive so much on shooting, but you can't tell me that makes it better. Like that's one where it's
Well-
like, I don't know. That's pretty big to me. Same routine, same shot, different routine all the time. It's a little weird to me, but maybe I'm thinking too much on it.
Well, if we're going to talk about superstars who improved their games, Giannis couldn't shoot at all. Giannis was just a dunker.
Yeah.
And you take away the 10-second violation stigma, he can make threes. So if Giannis can do it, then everyone can do it. Because this is a post. Posts aren't supposed to be as skilled at shooting. So,
Yeah. Not to mention his arms are massive, and that shot release has got to be ridiculous to get that perfectly timed up. Like you said,
it's like just that because he's so tall.
and his hands are they curl around to the other side of the ball. So like you said, if he can figure that out, palming the ball, that wingspan, not only that, he conquered it in the playoffs, not just the playoffs, the finals, the NBA finals.
Playoffs.
Yeah, he's like, let me figure this out. I'm not very good at free throws. Let me figure this out in the middle of the NBA finals. And then he did. And he would shoot free throws and he would win it for his team. And, he just conquered it right then and there. And it just tells you. And he talks about it too. He doesn't just say his free throws were a stroke of luck. Like he worked on them religiously because he knew they were treating him like the, hack of Giannis at that point.
Yeah.
And it was working all the way up until that finally got to the finals, and all of a sudden Giannis conquered it and they couldn't do it anymore. So again, we got to go to break here, but we got one more segment of the Breeze. It's me and Haas going all the way up until 1 o'clock. Then we'll have Husker Rewind as well. That'll be on later today. We'll have some of the softball girls and Ricky C. Simmons Get Your Happy on later tonight. So be staying tuned in. A full ticket weekend ahead. We'll be back right after this break.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Hey, I've been injured before the game. At Nebraska? In Michigan State. How'd you get hurt, Michigan State? I hit with a piece of chair. It hit me in my arm. Did it cut you? Yeah. Really? Yeah, I had to get taped up before the game. This is Christian now. We're all in here. It's Michigan State. When he was talking that stuff, and he took the clock off of the wall and said, broke the clock over his head. His helmet? I didn't say anything about a helmet. Put him on their ass, Big H style, baby. Smash math football.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scotts Bluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age?
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to The Breeze right here on Ticket Weekends. This is the last segment. So again, final comments, Starter Hammond text line. That's 402-464-5685. You can join the conversation that way. And again, if you missed the show, you can catch it on YouTube and watch the whole thing back, or Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all of those as well if you want to put a face to the voice. So to kind of wrap things up here, we kind of talked heavy on NBA, and I don't know if you're pretty big on the college basketball. I know I saw you tweet about Duke not too long ago. Yeah, you're wearing, I don't even notice, you're wearing your Duke gear right now today. And honestly, this is a year for Duke where they're not my favorite this year. I think they'll probably get into the tournament as maybe a double digit. It just depends how they're doing right now. I don't know. How far do you see them going this year? Duke has definitely not a favorite for me making it deep into the tournament this year. I think it's actually kind of a weaker year for them. How are you feeling?
Well, if you take away the home cooking at Charlottesville, and Duke might be number one in the ACC. So that's just
never mind. Let me look at this. Let me back this up.
Take away the home cooking where Filipowski got fouled before the buzzer, and they decided not to give them the free throws. So then they went to OT, and it's a call. They should have, if they're that good, they should have won in OT, but they lost. So one call away from being tied for first place in the ACC. You go to the Final Four last year. I know there's a major difference with your team, with Coach K being gone and Ben Caro not being there, and Williams and AJ Griffin and Reels. There's so many players that Duke had last year that obviously aren't there because they're one and done guys. But Roach is still there. Filipowski's there. They have talent. They'll probably be a 4 seed depending on what they do in the ACC tournament. If they go far in the ACC tournament, what if they win the ACC tournament? Then you're gonna put Duke a little higher up. If they don't, then they'll fall to a 6 or 7. It's Duke. It's weird things about Duke and Gonzaga that are consistent. They could lose early in the NCAA tournament, or you'll always see them in the Final Four. And so that's Duke. Duke, I'm used to been a fan since 1990. I don't know if you were born then, but the UNLV Duke rivalry back
9
then
years
was
still I was out there. That's how young.
every bandwagon Duke fan that became a Duke fan in the 90s remembers the Leitner shot from Grant Hill and where they were. Well, you also remember the God Shamgod NCAA tournament loss as Duke was a 2 seed, and there's so many losses that Duke was a 2 seed in the first round or second round, where it's everyone's Super Bowl to beat Duke in the NCAA tournament. So are they the Duke of old? No. Is anyone in NCAA?
It's been a weird year for the Blue Bloods. I'll give you that much. In terms of Blue Bloods, the only one that feels like they've been pretty consistent is Kansas. I'd say Kansas is probably a favorite out of it. If you're really looking at the Blue Bloods.
Former national champion from last year that hasn't changed too much. Yeah.
Same guy's coming back, still playing great basketball. But like North Carolina, I mean, might be time there. Yeah, you're probably ecstatic about that. Tough year for them. Like, obviously, you look at them, they're 19-12, which if you're a Nebraska basketball fan, you'd be like, well, what's wrong with that? But it's just not their typical standards for them.
And they still have Baycott. Baycott is so good. He dominated the NCAA tournament last year.
So who knows? They can make a run. I mean, Indiana's okay this year. I think the Big Ten in general is just pretty lackluster this year. The only teams I really see, I actually don't believe in Purdue that much, as weird as it is. I don't think that style works in the tournament as well as it does in Big Ten. Like, they get really stuck down, and now they're without, missing Garland out there. I just don't feel good about him. It's going to be a lot of center play. And again, last year, I mean, we saw the Peacocks beat them. So I just don't feel good about it. Given that was a really good team, I'd actually probably lean with Indiana, maybe being the best team in the Big Ten right now, even though I'm not super set. Iowa, we have them today at 1 o'clock here in about 6 minutes. They've been on an absolute heater. So the Big Ten's a mess for me. I don't know. You got any other Blue Bloods right now that you're feeling really good about this season? I can only name a few.
No, but obviously teams like Gonzaga, Alabama, Houston, those are teams that people are talking about and looking at. And the SEC is becoming a basketball conference, not just a football conference. The ACC is starting to slip. But hey, was there any text with UFC?
Absolutely. No, not the UFC, but we did have one with Russ. It's just unknown texter just said Russ was a detriment to the Lakers. Thank God he's out of there. So just some love for Russ. So again, I actually don't even hate Russ that much. I feel like I should say that. I don't hate him at all. I just really would love to see it work for him, but it just hasn't. And I almost get more frustrated watching teams trying to get a guy to fit in their system when I just feel like I can see a mile away that it's not going to work for you and it's not going to work for him. But it's kind of where
if I'm going to defend Russ, though, it's not his fault. So if the Lakers went and signed Shaq and asked him to run point and shoot threes and create spacing and play defense, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sign the right players. Bring in the right players. So it's not his fault. He didn't go and say, I am going to be the best three-point shooter ever. So you know what you're getting when you did it. It's not his fault. And then from a personality-wise, he was always very positive, which kind of unfortunately rubbed some of the Lakers the wrong way. But he was always trying to lift his teammates up and support them when they're losing. So I won't bash him. He just wasn't the right fit. With limited time left, SmackDown, and we were supposed to talk about WrestleMania for a while, so we'll keep that for DP as we're building up to April 1st and 2nd. But SmackDown was in Washington, D.C. this Friday.
Yeah.
And I talked about how Paul Heyman is the GOAT for managers.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman could come in and let Roman Reigns not speak for a month, not be on the show for a month, and it's okay. Roman Reigns has taken the belts, quote unquote, hostage, where both Raw and SmackDown doesn't really have a champion, and Roman Reigns doesn't even go on the show that much. And so because of it, wrestling is always about who's the champion, who's the the red belt and the blue belt, the WWE and the Universal Champion, and Raw and SmackDown Champion, whatever champion you want to call them. But because of Roman Reigns' limited role now, he's taking time off and he's doing other things, and maybe they're trying to make him a bigger star by having him on air less. I was shocked by the promo that he gave this Friday. It was really, really good. About 5 years ago, when he came out the Raw after WrestleMania, when he beat The Undertaker, so this is the second person to beat The Undertaker, but it's not as big a deal. But still, this was a big deal. He beat The Undertaker, and he came out, and he said 5 words, "This is my yard now," and then he left. Now, those words were very impactful, but part of the reason why he could only say 5 words is he was not a good speaker. And the way that he spoke on Friday, the way he story told, the way his mannerisms were, the way his face was, wow. He pretty much told Cody Rhodes that your father loved me more than he loved you. He talked about me and he never talked about you. Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty Rhodes, is someone that DP and his generation always talk about. And Dusty Rhodes, he grew wrestlers. He grew the NXT. He grew Seth Rollins. He grew Kevin Owens. He groomed Roman Reigns. And with that, when he made an impersonation of Dusty Rhodes, he is the guy who could speak on the mic now. And it's that transformation is amazing. I'm proud of Roman Reigns.
Absolutely. And you heard it there from Breeze. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel.